There are villains who kill to survive. There are villains who kill for power. And then there is the Joker, a man who can turn cruelty into theater, pain into punchline, and human suffering into a private joke only he understands. The moment that still feels like it should not exist in a mainstream comic book is not his origin. It is not his first laugh. It is not even the body count. It is Barbara Gordon on the floor, a gunshot, a shattered spine, a camera flash. And then the real horror begins. The Joker does not just hurt her. He turns her pain into a message, a spectacle, a proof of concept. He wants Jim Gordon to see what he sees. He wants Batman to understand that the line between order and madness is thinner than skin. He wants the whole world to realize that, in his mind, one bad day is all it takes to strip a person down to nothing. That is why the Joker is different. He does not just commit violence. He frames it. He narrates it. He makes suffering feel premeditated, intimate, and unavoidable. And once you understand that, every joke becomes a threat.
The Killing Joke. The story opens with rain, shadows, and a man who should never have become a legend. A failed comedian, a desperate husband, a life that has already started to collapse before the first real tragedy even lands. But the Joker does not begin as a monster in this story. He begins as a possibility, a weak man, a man who is already half convinced that the world is laughing at him, and that is what makes him dangerous. Because the Killing Joke is built on a nightmare idea that sanity is not a wall, but a crack. That all it takes is one catastrophic day for a human being to stop believing in hope and start worshiping chaos instead. The story shows us his past in fragments, but the past matters less than the philosophy it creates. The Joker is not just saying the world is cruel, he is saying cruelty is the truth and kindness is only a costume people wear until life tears it off. Then comes the attack that turned comic book history into a wound. The Joker breaks into the Gordon household. He shoots Barbara Gordon. Not in battle, not in self-defense, not by accident. He shoots her to make a point. Then he strips her down, photographs her bleeding body, and uses those images as bait in his psychological war against Commissioner Gordon. This is not random violence. This is methodical desecration. He is not just trying to break a man's body. He is trying to corrupt the idea that life has meaning at all. That is the true nightmare of the Killing Joke. Barbara is not harmed as a collateral casualty. She is selected. She is transformed into evidence. The Joker is building a philosophical argument out of a living person's agony, and that is why the story still feels so sickening decades later. It is less a superhero story than a hostage situation between nihilism and morality. Then comes the part that made the story immortal. Batman reaches the Joker. The chase is over. The violence has already happened. And suddenly, all the energy drains away into something quieter, colder, and far more terrifying: pity. Batman offers the Joker help. Understanding. A bridge back to humanity. For a brief moment, the entire story hangs on whether the Joker can accept that another ending is possible, and the Joker refuses. He tells the joke, a joke about two men in an asylum, a joke about the abyss between them, a joke that sounds like a punchline but lands like a verdict. Why is this so disturbing? Because the Joker is not merely insane in the wild, chaotic sense. He is lucid enough to argue, lucid enough to choose, lucid enough to reject salvation, because salvation would mean admitting his worldview is not inevitable. That is what makes him horrifying. He is not lost in madness. He has built a home there. And then for one uncanny second, the laughter stops, the rain falls, the darkness settles. Batman and the Joker stand in silence. Some interpretations end the story with shared laughter. some with a final act of despair, but the emotional truth stays the same. The Joker is not a man who is trying to escape his suffering. He is trying to universalize it. He wants the whole world to live inside the logic of his wound. Why it matters in DC history is simple. The Killing Joke became the defining text for the modern Joker. It gave the character a philosophical blueprint. It gave Barbara Gordon a trauma that would reshape her entire legacy. And it gave readers one of the most enduring villain ideas in comics: that the most terrifying enemy is not the one who wants to win, but the one who wants to prove nobody deserves to. Subscribe for the next story.